everybody, welcome to a new episode in my course. Today we're gonna talk about the selectors, the ID and the class. Okay, so let's start with learning more about the class. Okay, so I have a screenshot that we're gonna study it. Here we have the selectors. Okay, here P class equal introduction. This is a paragraph with the class. Okay, so here P class equal follow up. This has a different class. Okay, so here how we use class to select and make rules. Okay, first, what is class? Class is a group of things that have the same characteristic. Okay, first, how we can make a class and put in it some rules. So here in the CSS we put a dot and write the name of the class, for example introduction. Then we open the symbol, then we write our rules, then we close, and then when we want to make it on an element, we open, for example here we make a paragraph, we open P and we put the class equal introduction with quotation marks, and then we close, and here after we wrote what we want we close. Okay, so let's try doing this. So we can open Visual Studio Code. So I will tell you how. Example, here we have the test and the HTML. So here I want to open this, I want to open in another one. Example, here I want, okay, so here we have the linked, it's linked. Okay, so here we have, I have my own class. So first let's create our class. So we start with a dot and then the name of the class. For example, here introduction, and then I open brackets, and for example I want to make the font dash style. I want to make it, for example, inherit. Okay, then I want to make another thing that I want to make it cursive. Okay, font cursive, font dash family. I want to make it, for example, cursive. Okay, and I want to make the font, for example, dash size. I want to make it X large. Okay, and then I will return to the file here, and I would make a paragraph. I would just no need to make a paragraph. For example, you can make some what text, and here you write in, you can link it. How we can do this? Here you can make an P and the introduction, for example introduction. Okay, P class equal introduction. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, close, and then then from our text we would here write. Okay, so here for example I wanna write example going to the park. Okay, now here I want to write another thing, so here I'd write P just P again. Okay, now here I want to make another one, so here I would write open a P, and here I would create a class, a new class for the body, or for the other. For example, I want to write in idea. Okay, so here I would open and make the font dash, for example font dash size, I want it to be medium, for example. Then the font family, I want for example the font display, or I want to make the font family, I want, for example, this one. Okay, I want to, for example, also want to make my font dash weight bolder. Okay, now I can do here another text here, and I put class, mention the class to be idea, and then close. Here I gonna, for example, write it is a good idea to go to the park and smell some fresh air. Okay, now we can go live and check if the classes worked or no. It worked properly. Here this was with the introduction. Here this was this class. So here, going to the park, it is a good idea to go to the park and smell some fresh air. Okay, so now we'll take the ID. So let's get started with the ID. Okay, now let's talk about the ID. Here's the ID. The ID, we use an ID when there is only one element to apply. Okay, so let's get some example for ID. Okay, so here we have the screenshot. Here we have the selectors and ID. Here we have the div ID. So how we, it's only for one thing. Okay, so for example, here we what link the ID for an element in HTML. So write brackets div ID equal main dash article. Okay, and CSS make puppies gill. Okay, and here div. Okay, and here how we make the ID. So here in the CSS we make hashtag and then we write the ID. In the class we write dot, and here we write the rules. Okay, so for example, let's try. So for example, I want the orange to be cursive. Oh, I want to be the orange to be cursive. Okay, so here I would go to style.css. So here I would just here put a hashtag. An example, I would write fruit orange, for example, orange. So here I would write my rules now. The font dash family, I want it cursive. Now here I want, for example, color orange. Example, I want the font dash style dash style inherit. Okay, so here I would make text, and here I will make div ID equals to orange. Okay, then I would close it. Then I would write here, for example, and eat some fresh orange from the tree, from the trees. Okay, now after we wrote this, let's check if it's working or no. Wow, yeah. Okay, so let's try, we make it another thing. Okay, so here I will make div ID equal, example, here I want to write orange. Try. It's still working, but usually we use it for one thing. Why? Because you put just different rules, because you want each one different one, so we use it for only one. Okay, but it works. So that was all for and now we have just a little bit thing, how you can combine the means. For example, when you make the and combine the selectors. Means, for example, you want make more than selector and they have the same rule. For example, I can make here dot again. Okay, so here I would make, for example, intro. Okay, I just make it intro. I go to web, I mean the test, and here, for example, I want to change this to intro and see if it works or no. You can, but let's check if it is correct or no. No, it's not correct. How you do this, I'll tell you now. You can search on Google also how to combine classes in CSS. How we can combine them. Okay, so here you make, for example, here hashtag dot header, and here, for example, without spaces, you make without space. Example here like this, and you can just refresh. Still doesn't work. I will tell you the real way now. Okay, so let's start with combining the IDs, I mean the elements first. Okay, so here, for example, we have the first one. Okay, so how we do, for example, the emphasis and for example, the strong, I want to make them always to be font dash family cursive. I mean, sorry, the font family cursive. Okay, now the EM and strong will be cursive. For example, here I want to make here EM I am italic and, for example, cursive. Okay, now the strong here strong I am bold and cursive. Okay, so we will try, and here we got it. So here this was I'm italic and cursive, this is correct, and I am bold and cursive, this is correct. No, I'm bold and cursive, yeah, it's cursive. Okay, so now let's know how we can combine the classes. Okay, but there is no way to do the classes in this course. So that was all for today, and see you in the next video, inshallah.